Okay, so here's the problem. Our lawn, part of it during the winter, basically doesn't get any sunlight. There's a fence in the way, and where that's direction is south, so the fence blocks out a lot of the light getting onto parts of the lawn. That causes a bit of a problem because it just grows moss. The grass tends to die off, and we just end up with a load of moss in the place, and we've got to get it treated every year and probably reseed it every year. This year's been particularly hard on the lawn, and we're going to have to do it again, having only reseeded it last year. So I want to try and make some kind of improvement to the lawn and probably to the drainage to try and sort that problem out. Part of the problem we've got is we had this kitchen extension built 7-8 years ago now, and we had a patio put just behind the camera. And when it rains, that water then rolls off straight onto that patch of grass where the fence is as well. So that's part of the problem. And it doesn't get standing water wet, but it gets quite wet underfoot in the wintertime. So my plan is I've been doing a bit of work. I was thinking originally I was going to put in some French drains, cover back over with the soil, and that should help sort the problem out. However, that's a lot of work. I've got to work out where to drain that water off into as well and work out where the drains are, which could be quite difficult. And so I discovered this thing called vertical drains. Apparently it might be popular in the Netherlands. I've seen a few other YouTube videos doing this kind of thing. And the idea is basically, instead of having a horizontal pipe, what you do is you get a post borer and you drill vertically down into the ground, about a 15 centimetre wide hole, and then you fill it with gravel. You then put your soil back on the top, and basically all that does is it gives the space in the soil in the and the whatever substrate you got underneath that. It gives a space inside of there for the water to actually gather and collect, and then drain out vertically out the bottom of that. So water can flow in from your topsoil into it, down and away into the lower levels of the ground. So I thought that sounded like a really practical solution to my problem here. Basically, I can rent a post borer, I can drill down probably about 10 or so holes, fill them up with chips, and then we will see how it goes. So that's the plan anyway. Now, right now it's the middle of March. We've had a few dry days recently, but it's just started to rain again. So the ground is still quite soft, going to be quite easy to take the turf off the top and then drill down. And then also should be fairly soft underneath. And we're kind of ending the frost time as well. So we should be getting to a point where it's going to be suitable to do it. The downside to this though is it's March, we're going to go into summer, and then I'm not really going to know whether this has worked and whether the lawn is going to be any better for another year. But I've got to do it at some point. I might as well do it now and get it sorted now. So that's the plan. That's the job for this weekend. Basically, we're going to cut some holes into the lawn, take a piece of turf out, get the post borer in, drill the hole, and then fill it up with limestone chipping. I've got 10mm limestone chippings, little layer of sand on top, and then turf back on the top of that. And we will see how that goes. I can do a quick post-mortem at the end of this, can't I, just to say how well the job went, but I don't really know how successful that's going to be until next winter and next spring as well. So we'll see how we get on. Right, so here's the plan. I've hired my drill for the day. I'm going to be doing one hole first, see how that goes, fill it up completely all the way to the top, well not quite the way to the top, but fill it up to see how that whole one goes, and then I'll work out how much gravel and stuff I've got left over for the number of holes I want to drill. I basically want to do 10 in total, so hopefully if I get close to that I'm going to be happy. So I'm going to be filling it up with 10mm limestone, yeah, chippings for that, and then with a layer of sand on top. So that's a method that was recommended by Daniel Hibbert, so I'll link to his video shortly as well. So yeah, I'm going to put it on time lapse and we'll see how the first hole goes. So there we go, there's hole number one, and I'm about to fill that up with the stone chippings.
I'm okay, Danny.
I want this. On my face. That is this all gonna be one video?
No, this is more stony than I thought it was going to be.
Again?
There's more stony than I thought there was going to be.
Is there gonna be nothing on top of that?
Sorry?
Is there gonna be nothing on top of that?
Here we go, first hold on. Right, so that went pretty well. Used a tiny bit of the sand and about half a bag of gravel, which is what I was expecting. So that means 10 holes overall. Right, on to the next ones. Right, so here we go. Here's 8 holes under the lawn now. Some of them are a bit more visible than others. This one you can sort of see a bit. Some have a little bit of a dip in the middle, but that should sort itself out over time. I'm pleased with that so far. However, I bought 1 bag of sand and 5 bags of these, so I've still got another 3.5 bags of the limestone chippings to go. So I might put in another row just so I can use some of that up. I've got the drill for the rest of the day, so I might as well do some of it. It didn't take too long to do 8, so I can probably get another 5 in pretty quickly. Only problem now is then I've got large buckets of soil to get rid of somewhere. No, it's the third bag now.
The third bag.
So here we go then. 13 holes in the lawn. Some of them you can spot, some of them you can't. You know, you can spot this one, like this one here, really obvious. But this one here, yeah, a bit obvious. But there's another one just around here somewhere, and you can't spot it. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. This one here, this was in like the second set that I did. This one was by far the deepest hole. That went right the way down the length of the auger. So that one took a lot of gravel to fill up. But some of them also not that far away. This one here was probably only just about a foot deep, hitting some bedrock pretty early on. But yeah, still filled it up with the gravel. I have a mountain of gravel left to use up, so I will somehow try and take that back. And I've got 2 buckets full of spoil to get rid of at the tip somewhere. So that'll be a tip run in the future. I think I have to level or take some of them out of those 2 buckets because they're a bit too heavy to lift at the minute, but we'll sort that one out nearer the time. Right, so pleased with how this has gone. I don't think we can do any more. I've got enough stuff to keep going. I've got the drill for the rest of the day. You know, I could get another line in down here, but is it really worth it? I'm not entirely sure it is. So yeah, all looking pretty good.